Pack says, #Lions could take Bijan or Van Ness at 18. Drew, you're killing me on this video I'm dropping tomorrow. And wait for the second round corner. The cornerback room is so damn deep. It is so deep. It's absolutely deep. And if they took a corner in the second round, I'm not going to be pissed. Manuel Forbes, he's the best nickel corner in football. He's a second round pick. I would not shock me if he's sitting there in the second round. The corners are freaking deep, man. Like a couple, 2 years ago, the wide receiver core was extremely deep. That's how this corner group is. You literally can take 6 corners and say, this is my CB1, and you have 6 different people, and they're all different order. That's just, they're damn good. They got some damn good corners. And it's different systems, too, as well. So, yeah, man, look, if they took Bijan Robinson at 18 or Van Ness, it depends who they take. Like, if they took, I don't know, a DT at 6, and then they go Van Ness at 18 and took a corner in the second round, I'm not going to be pissed. If they took a edge at 6 and they took Bijan at 18, I'm not going to be pissed. I'm not. And I don't think people should be pissed off because the CB room, in which I would take one at 18, is extremely deep. If they don't go that route, don't say, oh, there's no one available in the second round. Yeah, there is. This is one of the deepest CB rooms I've seen since probably I've been doing the draft, since really going over it, probably since I really started getting to it in 2007. This is the deepest CB room I've ever seen in a draft. And I've been doing this for a long time, so it's damn good. So you're right, it's real deep. But that's kind of why I would love to get a CB at 18. I think you can get a day one starter, a CB1 at 18 that could start right away and get good results. I think, look, we all like Okudah, right? He was considered the number 1 corner a couple years ago. I think 5 corners in this year's draft would be drafted ahead of Jeff Okudah in that draft. What, 3 years ago or 4 years ago? That's how damn deep it is. Edge is deep too. Rodney, 100%. Edge is extremely deep. And there's a lot of, what's interesting about the edge group, and it's good and it's bad at the same time. It's good if you're in the mid to later rounds, because I think there's so many edges that are very similar talent-wise that it sucks if you're sitting at pick 6, right? But if you're sitting at pick 9, it's good because you can get the same type of talent there, so you're 100% right. If I missed your question, put it back in here. What do you think of linebacker at 6, CB at 18? They're not going to go linebacker at 6. I'm putting that, as much as I love a linebacker and is how much I value that position, it's not happening. I give that a 0.0000001% chance. Not Trenton Simpson's not going to go 6. That's Brad Holmes. I don't even think he would take one at all in the first round. I truly don't. And that's, for me, I love the idea of just taking BPA, and so I'll take a corner in round 1, but I don't think Brad Holmes will. As CB at 18, for sure. I just don't see the linebacker there, Trent Simpson, going at pick 6. In all honesty, you could trade to pick 15 and get Trenton Simpson. What's the farthest you'd trade back?
Yeah, I early teens. I'd like to go early teens, but it depends, because the whole thing with Devon at the minute, is he going to rise up the board a little too high? Because as I've said, quite a few times already, the corner class is incredibly good. In the first round this year, I think there's going to be a lot, and you've got to find the guy who is amenable to your team, who's best going to fit your structure, your scheme, and I'm still convinced that that's him by a long way. So I don't want to go back too far that I'm going to lose him, but I reckon I could still get to 10, 11 and still get him. So I go to early sort of like early double digits, 10 to 13, that range.
$1.99 super chat by the real one, Anton G-J-O-N-G Joan Udge. I'm destroyed your name. That's what I do. I apologize. But everybody show this man some love in the comments section. Do you like Jahmyr Gibbs? He is my RB3. He's the fast guy. Drafting him in the second round. That's where I think he does fall. He is a very fast wide receiver, breakaway speed. Raw would say he's kind of like Alvin Kamara type of player. Would you take him in the second round? That's in the later second round pick, maybe. What do you think about this one, Ant-Man?
He's the best dual threat running back in the draft, so yes, I would take him second overall in the second round if he's there. It depends. Again, we've got 5 picks in the top 80. I think we can go what might be termed luxury otherwise. So I love the dual threat ability of him. I'd take him.
I think that would pretty much end DeAndre Swift in Detroit though after the contract year because he can do it all. Right, like he can take it out the backfield. He can be the pass catcher. That's kind of what Swift has been kind of put to. What do you think would happen if you take a Gibbs? What do you think it means for the future, not this year, but the future of DeAndre Swift?
I think if I'm lining Jahmyr Gibbs and DeAndre Swift up in my backfield, I think a defensive coordinator is going to have a hell of a headache to deal with. I mean, I know it's his last year and whatnot. You have to protect yourself in the future. Even if Jamal comes back, which is probably maybe a 1-year deal, I don't know. We gave him a 2-year deal before, but your running back room is bare as of the end of next season, so you have to protect yourself going forward. I don't want to kind of go around next year, maybe it not work with Swift or Williams or whatever, and then I'm going into 2023 and I've got to rebuild my whole running back room. I'd rather protect myself in the future. So I see a position where he comes in and he works with Swift, both of them together. And we have 2 bona fide threats out the backfield. So I think there's still a role for Swift here. He's still got a year to prove you can get a longer deal. And because, as I say, they're both such dual threat guys, you don't need them both in the backfield. You use one in the slot. You can use them differently. You can mix the snaps up between them.
Yeah, I think for this year, you're 100% right. It would be a nightmare for defenses. It would be an interesting discussion for going forward, DeAndre. I think it would spell the end of him after this year, for sure. This year it would be a nightmare, but that'd be very interesting because that would be the conversation. Would be whoa. But yeah, I haven't really thought about Gibbs coming to the Lions. I'm looking at Charbonnet a little bit more because I like the size and the power that he brings. But that would absolutely be a home run hitter. He would be like the Jameson Williams of running backs. He got that home run hit.
And if you don't, there's other guys later on. The running back class is stacked. The one who's really stood out at the Senior Bowl this week is Tyjae Spears, the Tulane running back. So he's had a magnificent end to the year. Tulane had one of the biggest turnarounds in college football this year. He had such a great end to the season, but the knock on him has always been receiving because he's only catched like 28 passes in 25 games there. It's not something he's been asked to do, but he can. And you've seen him at Senior Bowl this week. After Kenny McIntosh, he's probably been the best receiving back there. So he's definitely got it about him. And he's probably not going to go to late day 2, something like that. Your round 3, your round 4, it depends. He might rise. But if you don't want to spend too high a pick on a guy, you can go back and get another one. And he would certainly be one to keep an eye out on. I've been really excited by him, actually. So you'll see. There's a lot of good talent at the Senior.
I think Swift would be a slot back. You could have Jamal in as running back and Swift as slot back. That would be crazy. Yeah, that would be crazy, and that's exactly what Ant-Man was talking about earlier when he was on here. He's talking about how it would give defenses nightmares to have something like that on there. It kind of looked like Kansas City Chiefs a little bit. Let's see. CB's at 6, a strong pass. What do you think about taking a cornerback at 6?
See, I'm I know why people think that, but people over there, it's a lot to do with positional value and that. But I think you've got to find the guys that schematically fit your team, and if he is the right guy, I don't mind paying at 6. It's better to draft him at 6 than to draft maybe a player who on paper is better and has more talent, but doesn't fit your team, doesn't fit what you need. So, is it too rich? Maybe, but I don't think so. If we're talking about Devon here, I think he's everything that this team requires. Man coverage, great at that, very physical at the line of scrimmage, plays the schemes, plays the system. If you get him in and long-term develop him into a great corner, then 6, you pay that price for it. And our cornerback room needs gutting out. It does. There should be Jerry and Jeff here next year, and that's it. So we've got to put in some serious investment at the position. It's not something we can fix by bringing in vets. We've got to bring long-term stability to the position. And I think if he's there, you go and get him, and people will say, yes, the cornerback class is deep, and yes, it is, but you still want one of the elite guys out of there. And I'd be double dipping as well. I think I'd be getting him first, and then I'd be taking Kublu Kelly later on because I think he's exactly the same. And I think he's a hidden guy. I'd have 2, and I'd just proper rebuild the position up. But if 6 is what it takes, so be it. You've got 5 picks in the top 80. So even if you are slightly reaching for him, it doesn't matter because you're still getting plenty of talent in on the team. I think that is the luxury we can be afforded by having such good draft capital this year. We need to reach a little bit, we can.
Would you guys take a cornerback at pick 6? Y for yes and N for no. Let me know in the comment section. Spam it right now with Y's and N's. I'm curious to see what your thoughts on this one. I'm BPA. If they feel their player is the best player available, I'm for that. That is do I have a certain player ahead of others? Yes. But my draft board is different from other people's. But we got Sal says no. Let's see. Just subscribe to Lions UK. There you go. Lions Roar 74. Just get there. Lisa says why. Cedric says why. Bobo says no. Why? No mad. Kool-Aid. No. Ranting Q. No. Why Hatman. Kool-Aid. So it's 50-50. It's 50-50. So, I mean, that's about reasonable right there for sure. That's about reasonable.
So people are obviously still, not traumatized, but they still remember the Jeff pick. And they are skeptical about that. All I would sort of say in regards to that is, yes, I am as well, but my GM who's picking is a lot smarter than the one who picked Jeff. And I'm not saying Jeff was the bad pick there, but I think they were BPA. They need the best corner going. They just got rid of Slay. You've kind of really got to go in and make a splash at corner. Whereas here, I think I've got a GM who's picking the best player for my team. So I want the best player for my team. I don't necessarily want the most talented guy because I don't think Holmes is that guy. You've seen with Pascal, you've seen with Levi, he wants players who he feels are going to fit a specific role in this team. And he wants to, get the highest ceiling player possible, but they've got to have a moment here. So I think he will quite happily do that again. And I would trust him to do that because it has worked so far. And with most of the picks he's made, like when they picked Aleem, nose tackle, it was a position the team needed. So they went and got him. There might have been better players in there. I don't know. I mean, I love him to bits, but it's what the team required. So if he picks it at 6, I know he's making the best pick for what this team needs. So I'm not going to worry like it was with Jeff at 3.